In this episode of Alien Agenda, Colonel Gene explores the mysterious phenomenon of unidentified submersible object. While attention often focuses on UFOs in the skies, this episode dives deep into historical and modern sightings of strange, fast-moving crafts underwater, from ancient times to recent events off the California coast. Expert opinions, sonar detections, and first-hand accounts suggest these unexplained objects may hold secrets beneath our oceans. Are these transmedium crafts truly extraterrestrial? Join Colonel Gene to uncover the intriguing possibilities.
It's Colonel Gene again with another episode of Alien Agenda, as we look into that question, are they out there? Today, we're going to look at unidentified submersible objects, USOs. In the past, most of our attention was focused on what is in the sky and out in space. Today, we're going to look into what may be lurking in our oceans. 2/3 of our planet is covered in water, and we know less about our oceans than we know about the surface of the moon. If aliens wanted to remain unobserved, what better place to hide than in the oceans on planet Earth? One of the first reports of a USO goes back to 329 BC, when Alexander the Great reported seeing shiny objects flying in and out of the water at a place called Jagstar's River in India. He was convinced there was something under the water. He spent years trying to locate what he saw using a crude type of tube that I guess was sort of like the first submarine. As recent as March 19th, 2024, the New Delhi TV station carried statements from retired U.S. Rear Admiral and oceanographer Tim Gallaudet that we need to be concerned about USOs. He was the acting Undersecretary of Commerce for Oceans, as well as the administrator of NOAA. The Navy has said they found no evidence of any extraterrestrial technology supporting the reported observations of USOs. The Admiral, however, said unidentified submersible objects need urgent attention. Many believe the government is trying to mask the accounts that many observers have made about UFOs diving into the water and becoming USOs. They have been tracked on sonar, traveling at extreme rates of speed and at depths up to 20,000 feet. That is well below the crush depth of our newest submarines. Gallaudet has said, quote, "Their presence in the ocean at the same time presents an unprecedented opportunity for marine science. To meet the security and scientific challenges, transmedium UAPs and USOs should be elevated to a national ocean research priority," end quote. Let's take a look at some of the sightings of these unidentified submersible objects. On October the 11th, 1492, Columbus recorded in his journal that he saw shiny objects going into and out of the ocean. Christopher Columbus, in addition, reported in his journal that he saw strange lights in the sky at night. On February the 8th, 1960, near Garfo Nouvelle, the Argentinian Navy began tracking 2 submarines they thought were American. These objects were observed on sonar breaking apart and then flew out of the water. This incident came to the attention of Nikita Khrushchev, head of the Soviet Union at that time. He wanted to learn more about this strange sighting and sent a diplomatic attaché to Buenos Aires to learn more about the sighting of the Argentinian Navy. A groundbreaking book by Ivan T. Sanderson, entitled Invisible Residence, was a groundbreaking discussion about UFO and the enigma that it has created. He is a renowned zoologist and believed that other intelligent life lived under the oceans of the Earth. Sanders was also interested in the disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle. What better place than under the oceans to have a base? He offered an exhaustive study of USOs in his book and a well-documented case study for these unusual events and sightings. In March 1963, Mr. Sanderson reported a U.S. sub detected an underwater object 100 miles from Puerto Rico, traveling at 150 knots per hour, which is about 170 miles per hour, and it was at a depth of 20,000 feet. A report was made to the Navy in Norfolk, but they did not come up with any official determination, and the Navy simply remained silent. Bruce Maccabee, a retired naval physicist, explained that no technical knowledge today could operate at that speed or at that depth. The crush depth of our best submarines is about 7,000 feet. On October the 4th, 1967, a Chris Stiles and a Don Ledger reported in their book Dark Object seeing a UFO hovering over the ocean at Shag Harbor, Canada. A second craft was also observed going into the water, and later both ships emerged from the ocean. Another witness, Norman Smith, said 10 to 12 others saw this incident, as did a number of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. November 11, 1972, a Norwegian Navy saw on the west coast a fast-moving craft underwater. They tracked the object for several days, and on November the 20th, a cigar-shaped USO came out of the water. It was a massive ship, but it was in complete silence as it emerged from the water. The Norwegian Navy began firing on this USO, and it immediately dove back into the water. Then they used some depth charges and tried to locate the craft for almost 2 weeks without success. On February the 7th, 1989, scuba divers in Santa Catalina Channel reported seeing a very large craft come out of the ocean and hover just above the water in total silence and was motionless for about 90 seconds. Then about a dozen small moving objects appeared to fly off. After 60 seconds, the smaller crafts disappeared and the large craft went back into the water. It was as if the large craft launched the smaller ships. Surface ships with sonar tracked the large USO heading toward the far side of Santa Catalina Canal until it disappeared. These sightings off of California coasts ignited discussions that were similar to those that took place after the 1947 Roswell incident. The Santa Catalina Channel is a 26-mile stretch between Los Angeles and Catalina Island and has been a location where numerous SEO sightings have. On June 14, 1992, Preston Dennis, the author of UFOs over Catalina, saw 200 craft come out of the ocean and disappear into the sky in the Santa Clara Channel. Dennis reported this incident to the Coast Guard, but they did not search for these ships. Leonard Hansen reported filming 200-plus aircraft in the area, which he claimed was a hotbed of UFO activity. Many residents in the area were very concerned about seeing the strange craft going into and coming out of the oceans in the channel. Author Mario Barno, a retired helicopter engineer, wrote The Solomon Island Mysteries. In his book, he claims there are undersea bases for USOs. Another author, Andrew Collins, claims many fishermen told him that USOs came in and out of the water on a regular basis. On October the 8th, 2002, Carlos Torres, a police officer in Puerto Rico near Laguna Katrina on the southwest corner of the island, watched a red glowing USO come out of the water into the air at an incredible speed. The object stopped and hovered just above the water. After several minutes, the craft went back into the water. Earlier in the 1990s, officials tried to discredit the USO sightings in Puerto Rico, despite hundreds of people who reported seeing them come out of and go back into the water. Many of these sightings included sonar traces, and a report that the aircraft came in complete silence was almost universal. The other issue is that the speeds underwater at which these vessels were tracked via sonar is so fast that we could not come close to it even with our nuclear submarines. It may very well be that the UFOs and the USOs are the same crafts with the ability to operate in the air as well as under the water. For me, the concern of someone like Admiral Gallaudet leads me to believe the information relied by these sightings is accurate. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Alien Agenda and that you will tell your friends about our look into the many aspects of UFOs, and now USOs. If anyone with firsthand experience with UFOs would like to be interviewed on Alien Agenda, please contact my publicist, Deborah Wallace. Until next time, this is Colonel Gene signing off. Please be safe.